Let's talk about telling me something I don't know, which is brought to you by Canon, and it starts with you tonight, Paul Henrik.
Well, a great part about being able to travel with the Maple Leafs, you get a chance to talk with people from time to time, and one of those is gentleman Cliff Fletcher. And I was talking with Cliff last week when we were in Montreal after the loss, and I said, Cliff, you were a great hockey player, you played fastball, you played hardball. Where do the athletic genes come from your family? He said, my dad, Buster Fletcher. His father, Buster, was a quarterback with the Montreal Amateur Athletic Association in the late 20s and early 30s, and in fact played on the first ever Montreal Grey Cup team back in 1931. They defeated the Regina Rough Riders by a score of 22-0 back then. Buster wasn't the quarterback. The Amateur Athletic Association had brought up an American to play the quarterback position. Buster was moved to the wideout, but regardless went on to win the Grey Cup championship. So Cliff went on to be a hockey man, but his dad was an outstanding football player, and it was Montreal's first ever Grey Cup. The next one wouldn't come until 1949.
See, what I find interesting about that was you said he got his athletic ability there. I think he also got his hockey sense. My father was a professional football player as well, so I think maybe I got the same hockey brains that Cliff did from his father playing football. But anyways, moving on, my don't know is on Marc Savard, and unlike Zdeno Chara, who decided to climb a mountain in the offseason, Marc Savard, like most other hockey players, took up the game of golf. He only started to play the game of golf so he could hang out with his teammates in the off-season, and after missing the playoffs the first 9 years of his career, he became pretty good at it. He is now a scratch golfer who has over 15 sets of clubs. A couple of summers ago, he actually qualified for the Canadian Men's Amateur Championship, which he did play in, and he also became friends when he was in Atlanta with PGA golfer Stuart Sink. Went on to caddy for him at the John Deere Classic during the lockout year, and he claims he helped him make sure that he didn't three-putt throughout that entire tournament. So not climbing mountains, but becoming a pretty good golfer. He actually said if he had a choice to go back in time and choose hockey or golf, he might now choose golf.
A little warmer.
Wow, that's pretty unreal. And mine, I'm going to talk about third-year general manager Peter Chiarelli of the Boston Bruins. And you know what? He's a guy that took a team that was out of the playoffs who now sit first in the Eastern Conference of the National Hockey League. And for me, you know, he's done a great job drafting a couple of players, but it's the trades that he's made and the acquisitions and free agencies. But he was with the Ottawa Senators for 7 years beforehand as a assistant general manager. But what you didn't know is a guy, and I didn't know in fact beforehand, that he played at Harvard University, went to school there, was a captain on the hockey club there, went to Europe for a year. But then when he came back, he went to Ottawa University, got his lawyer's degree, and then he worked for an agent, Larry Kelly, who was my agent at the time. So what I didn't know, or what you didn't know, is that he actually used to work for me, because
really?
He worked
in
for my
essence,
agent.
yes. You made him some money. Very nice.
Done.
Well, there's three things that we didn't know before, and after the break, we're going to share a little more with you as the band come in for tonight's big game. And I tell you that next we will hear from the rookie sensation of the Boston Bruins. Blake Wheeler sits down and talks about scoring goals next.